Hi, I'm Peter Kalmstrom of kalmstrom.com Business Solutions. In this demonstration, I will talk to you about a problem and the solution I've found for that problem. As you see here, there's a warning for this formula here, and it says that this is blank filter that I have here should actually not be used because it's warning about it that it might cause problem in large data sets. What is the large data sets when it comes to Power Apps? Well, we can see that in the setting here, that if we go down here a bit, you see that the default, which I've changed actually in the past, is 500, but now it's 2000. If I try to put it to 5000, it will say that the maximum value you can have is 2000. And of course, that's large amounts. So if this application becomes successful, now we only have 3 open tasks here, then that might become a problem in the future. And also, for this application, as it is now in the Canvas app, we don't really need anything more than the open tasks. The closed ones or the missed ones, we don't want to see them. They're out of the picture. So what I've done here is I've created another table in Excel called Tasks Archive. In this demonstration, I'm going to do things a little bit differently. Usually I show things step by step, but here I've done all the work beforehand, and I'm just going to show you what I've done and how, because it got rather complex in the end. Let me know in the comments if you prefer the other way where I go through every step, or this when I'm showing you the result. Let me know which one you find easier and more instructive, because that's the goal, of course. Anyhow, what I did first is I created a copy of the tasks table in a new sheet called Tasks Archive. So that table here is called Tasks Archive. So as you see, that contains the ID all the way over to due date. Then I created a new column, which is the archive row here at the end, because that keeps track of the connection between the tasks and the archive, because we want the open ones to be in both tables. That's what's one of my design goals, because when I'm building statistics later, I want that to show both the open ones and the missed ones, and the done ones, of course, all tasks. So this contains a column function here, and as you see, it's looking for the ID column in the tasks archive sheet in the A column, and it's returning an exact match of that. So that's what we're getting here, 68, 69, and 70. Let's check that, if that looks reasonable. Yes, of course, 68, 69, and 70. Those are the same ones, the open ones. So that function is there. And then, of course, I wanted to modify the script to make sure that as soon as we create a new task, it gets copied into the task archive also, and when we mark a task as done or it is missed, then it should also be updated here and removed from this table here. So there's quite a lot of script, of actually about 50 rows more of script here. So let me go through it step by step. First of all, there is of course the template class. It hasn't changed much, but it has changed down here where I add the template as a new task. And as you see, I could not set the entire row in the task table because now I have a formula here. That's what I did before. I set the entire row, but now I have another column here. So I needed to get that range all the way over to the age column instead. So non-formula cells, adding their new row, getting the last row, and then I'm getting all the cells from the A column all the way over to the age column, and then I'm setting the values of that range. So that concludes the template class. The templates class has not changed at all, so that's good. In the class task, I've added the archive row here. So I'm reading that. That's of course a number, so I'm just reading that from the 8th column of the task table here in Excel. And then there's a whole new function here, copy to archive. And that takes a workbook as a parameter, getting the tasks archive table. So that's this one, of course. And then it's getting the row values from the tasks. It's going to get all of this, right? Including the last one. And then I'm using the pop function here to remove the last column, because we don't want the archive row. And we're checking if that archive row, which is a property of this task object, if that is 0 or not a number, then we add a row and we add those values, the first row of these values. So that's what we're doing there. And if it's not, if we already have a row, so let's say this will occur when a task row is updated, then we're going to get the range and get the row. So that's the archive row minus 2. Because this, when you're getting a row, it's 0 based. So it's going to be, so the row 68, for example, is actually going to be the row 66 when it's 0 based. Because first of all, we have a header row, and then the first row would be 0. So that would come down to 66 in that case. And then we're setting the values. Alright, so that's that function. The tasks class has not changed at all since last time I walked through it. That's good. Here is some new stuff. We've shown this before when we set all to missed, so that's old stuff. But here at the end, I'm doing some new stuff. I'm looping through the all tasks again, and if the current task has an ID larger than 1, and the reason I have this check here is that when I add a new row by code, sometimes Excel adds another empty row here, and I want to delete that. I don't want that in there. I'm doing that later. So I'm checking that. If I actually have an ID and it's not an empty row here, then I'm copying it over using that function of the task object that I showed you before. So all the items are copied, all the tasks are copied here, right? So this would be 3 of them in this case. They're copied to the tasks archive. So that means any new values that have been set will be copied over. If the task status is done or missed, or if the ID is less than 1, then I want to delete that row. So that is that part. And finally, because I still kept getting that empty row, I put another function in here, or another part of code here, that gets the worksheet, finds the number of tasks, and if there's an extra row, then that would have the number of tasks plus 1. So in this case, it would be number 4, right? So we have the length, it's going to be 3 plus 1. So it's deleting that. So quite a bit of code, but it works rather well. So let me run all of it just to show you that it works as it should. I'm setting all these to the 10th, which is today. Copying that down. So now I run the script, and of course I should get 3 new tasks here. And I do. So before I had 3, now I have 6. So if I go over to my app here and run the app, of course I do need to refresh the data source first, so let's do that. There's 6 of them. Perfect. So let's go ahead and close some of these. So we're closing 2 of them like that. Yeah, so now we have 4 there. Let's go over to Excel, and we can see the data source has been updated, or being updated there as we speak. I think that's a rather cool feature of using Excel as the data layer there. You can see the updates as they happen live. So now I'm going to run that script again, and now we don't have any new tasks being created, but these 2 that I just completed are going to be removed, right? So, and of course it's going to be updated here also. So I'll run that. There we go. The 2 rows have been moved over, and here they are. So that's it for this demo. Thank you for watching, and do please let me know in the comment how you felt about this way of describing a rather complex script. Thank you for watching.